Hello everyone. So today I have the pleasure of reviewing these new Make a Scene dies from Spellbinders. They are designed by Becca Feekin, and so it's like the APG line. So we'll talk a little more about that in just a minute, but Spellbinders did send these items free of charge for my review, and all opinions are my own, and any links I have in the description box will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. These are now available on Spellbinders, so I've been holding on to these dies for a little while because I was waiting for them to be available, because this is a really, really fun idea. It does take a little bit of work to get your shutters set up. Basically, it's going to be like a system where you pull it open and it looks like it creates a scene, right? So it's called Make a Scene. And some of them are a little fancier, like what we expect from Becca, and some are a little more playful, so something new. So really cute, the scenes that you can create in them. So this is the basic die set. Depending on when you're watching this, I mean, if it's when it first launched today, you'll see that there's bundles and things like that in Spellbinders, and they are also available in other outlets, and I'll have that information in the description box too. And so yeah, so let's just get started. So what I'm going to show you is just the base dies. They will come on a carrier like Spellbinders always does. It does have information on the back if there's certain cutting size that you need to do with certain things or pieces, and that basic construction, okay? So don't worry about that. You'll have that for reference. I do have the base die, and I have a couple other items here. I have the rolling along scene, which has a little bike, which is adorable, and I have the bold greetings. So that's really fun because it's just going to help you drop in sentiments. There's several different scenes that you can create, and I think there's also a stamp set that goes along with it if you would like. So let's quickly talk about this, and then we'll construct our Make a Scene card. Really, really fun. So what we're looking at right now is the outer frame. This outer frame right here will make your card base. I believe it cuts at 5x7, but I haven't checked it. It just looks like that. You're going to need two of this piece on the inside to actually pull on either end to make the scene. That's what moves away and then shows the scene that you're going to create from the dies that are the other sets that you might pick up. And then this middle piece here helps you cut your aperture. So it's separate from the outer die because you can use the outer die to make the back of your card, and then the front, but then the front you're going to put in an aperture, okay? This piece right here is a bracket that's going to hold these pieces in place a little bit. Kind of, we'll talk about that obviously in a minute. This is the action though right here. So this stuff right here, let me move this out of the way, is what nestles into these pieces here, and it makes the pieces that are going to be holding on to your Make a Scene dies. Well, not the dies, but the inserts, right? Whatever it is that you choose to put in there to build up your scene. And they had said the reason that these pieces are separate and you can do whatever you like with is because let's say you just want two pieces, a front piece and a back piece, or just, you know, however you want to arrange this with the 3 layers or 2 layers, you can do that. So these are not static, you know, you can move these around. So that's this piece. This is just a guide. This piece here doesn't cut. These are the pieces that cut, and these score your lines. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. It's not difficult, and then you just need to cut 2 of them very easily. And then this here right here, we'll cut a little, like a little divot out if you want to use that out of your front of your card, or however you want to do it. But that's an extra thing. Of course, this little banner, which you can stamp whatever you like to stamp on here. It cuts the outer banner, it cuts even a little topper for that banner, so that's really nice. And then the words pull, if you want to use those, you can die cut those too. So that is the basic set. So of course, this is what you'll need to make the scenes. And what I'm going to do, I think, is first just focus on this, and then I'll bring out some of the other pieces. I do have them. They just are sent like this in a sample pack for me, so I will lay them out on here, and then we can see them better. But like I said, this is the rolling along scene, and I have the bold greetings, which is really sweet. So I'm going to grab some cream colored cardstock, because I think that's what I want for my base, and we'll get started. Okay, so I just grabbed a few pieces of cream colored cardstock. We'll need quite a few pieces. Just to easily start, I'm going to start by cutting out this larger guy. We're going to need one for the back of the card, and we're going to need one for the front of the card. So I'm just going to tack that down and run it through my die cutting machine. Just like that. And I'm going to cut 2 of them, okay? And I'll be right back. Okay, so on one of these pieces, I have the other cut here. What we're gonna do is this will be, one of them is gonna be the front. So what you're gonna want to do is cut an aperture so you can see through it. Of course, you wanna see your scene that you just created. So let me get this off of here. Oh, I just missed that corner. There we go. And on the back of your die here, there are little tiny marks. And you can use that to help you guide where you want to put that centerpiece there. Or you can go ahead and draw it, right? Use a ruler and actually draw lines. But this is the front of my card. I don't really want to put it in the back and then guess where it, I'm just going to eyeball it. So when you turn this over, you have these little tick marks here. And basically, you know, you want to get it as center as you can. I'm looking up and down. You can probably even pull out your ruler and help you kind of line that up and see where that might be. And then these guys here. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going to tape it down. But like I said, if you want to grab a ruler and kind of just give it a once over and see if you were even close. Hey, not too bad, huh? All right. This is the one I would be more... There we go. All right. And I'm going to tape that down. And remove this, and I'm going to run it through one more time so we can get this aperture cut out the center there. Okay, so we have this piece, and you'll want to save this little middle piece for later. So I'll just keep it like that, but there we have with our aperture. You want to run this through an embossing folder, you want to do some inking or something fun, you know, do all those things. But for now, I'm just going to do the basic construction of what this looks like, and we can get artsy later, okay? So I have this other piece of paper. We're going to need 2 of these. And I just cut it down just so it can fit through my die cutting machine, but basically you want it for this piece, okay? And this piece, you're going to want to cut 2 of these. But for right now, let's just put this on here. I am going to actually just tape that just so it doesn't move, so I can just work with it easily here. So what we're going to do is we're going to use all of these pieces here. So the pieces that have the little score marks. So what you're going to do, like I said, we're going to cut 2 of these, and one needs to be the opposite of the other. Now, there's a couple ways you can do that, and hopefully what I do will work. So I'm going to take this guy here. What I'm planning on doing is really taping this together so I can just remove this whole piece and flip it. We'll talk about that in just a minute, though. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. All right, we have those pieces. And if you want to start taping them down, you can do that. I have a little bit of washi here. You can use regular tape. It's just that regular, you know, this kind of stuff. It does get pretty sticky. So washi is a little bit more forgiving, and I don't have to fight with it too much later. So I'm just going to put those pieces right there. And there. And then down here, I'll rearrange this. And you can stick this down at any point whenever you feel comfortable. I'm not sticking that middle section. Really, I'm just paying attention to the little the score mark. The scoring pieces here. So this guy, I'm not sticking it quite down yet. There you go. And then we have these 3 pieces. And I don't know if you notice, one's longer. The piece it's gonna cut, one's a little bit like in the middle size, and then one's shorter. Okay, so we have those 3. Then what we're gonna do is the small one, the one with the smallest kind of opening. The cutting piece is gonna go down here, and closest to this pull tab area. The middle one, of course, is gonna go in the middle, with the cutting piece facing down towards the bottom, and then the longest one will be on the end, just like this. Okay, and you're just going to kind of eyeball them. Make sure they're pretty straight. And then we're going to washi tape these down. So this is what I would consider the hardest part right here. And I'm just going to grab some washi, and I'm going to go across end to end on the whole thing. And the reason I'm doing this too is because later what I'm going to do is pick up this whole thing as one piece. Hopefully. That's my plan. We will see. I might just have to take them out and switch them, and then there's another trick I can talk about in just a minute. But basically, I'm going to try to stick this together as much as I can. My pieces of washi are getting smaller and smaller as I go down here. I don't know why. Okay. So just one more. All right, I'm going to run this through, and I'll be right back. Okay. So it popped out. And this came out in one piece on my example, but you know, you don't have to have it do that. But there that is. So we have this one. And now we need the reverse of this. So on the other side, same thing, but the pull tab is going to be on this other side. And then it's going to go large, medium, small in the other direction. Now, there's a couple ways you can do. So I'm glad that this stayed together here. Now what I can do is just come and make another one, which is probably what I'm going to do, just to make it simple and move on. But I'm going to make another one exactly the same. But when I go to use it, I'm going to flip it. Okay? And I know some people don't like doing that because the die cut will be rough on the one side where it's smooth on the other, and the outside will be showing. So let me talk about this for just a second. I did want that to stay together, but that's okay. We'll just put that back on here and pop it back in. Okay, so this is going to cut the exact same thing again for me because it's exactly the same. If you don't want to do that and you want just to actually make a reverse one, you would go ahead and stick this on your paper in the other direction, right? Well, let's just turn this. Let's just show you. You would go ahead and have it this way. Doesn't really matter. But what you're going to do is then switch these pieces. Okay, and you have to switch them back so that this piece, take it out, turn it around so it's down at the bottom, and all of that. Okay, so now once those pieces are facing the other direction, right, you're going to have the large, middle, and small going in the other direction with the pull tab on the other side. Okay, but for now I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I'm going to cut it again, and I'm just going to flip the puller. But like I said, you don't have to do that. If you want to make it so that it's its own thing, just take these pieces back out and turn them so that they're down at the bottom. Okay, exactly the same order, but just down at the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna run this through and I'll be right back. So here's that second piece. And let me remove this. Carefully. And so now basically we have these two pieces like this. Like I said, you want them to be opposite of each other. And I did flip it, so it's just flipped. That's all. Most of this is going to be hidden other than the area that you're going to pull out. So it's not the biggest deal. I think that's the easiest and quickest way to get that done. So there's that. I am going to cut 2 brackets, okay? So just from this paper scraps that were left from, you know, cutting these out, I'm going to cut 2 little bracket pieces. And I'll be right back. Okay, so we have all our pieces. I'll just show you what that should look like at this point. And so these brackets that go on the inside, like my tape is really sticky and I kind of tore a little bit, but that doesn't matter because you're not going to see these guys. So, I mean, you want to use a coordinating paper, but if you don't have that, you can use any color. It's not going to be showing. This piece right here, I'm just going to keep it together for always, and then of course you get rid of these little papers that are stuck in there, but we already have it washi taped together. Might as well leave it there for next time, unless you want to customize it. I'll put that away, and then we have all our other pieces that we initially cut over here. So there's a couple things we can still do before we move on if you want to do so. You can take this little guy, and it has a guide basically on here so that you can line it up with the very edge. It's like a T-square, you know. You're going to put it right on the very edge of your paper. And it has a little divots and stuff. You can kind of eyeball that or see wherever that you want to put it. And I think I'm going to do this just to make it easier to open. So I would just put a little piece of tape, run it through, put it on the other side, put a piece of tape, run it through. So that's what I'll do when I come back. And then for this guy, you can also have the words pull on here. So if you look, this is going to be kind of inside of here. You can kind of think about where you would want the word pull to be, and you can die cut the word pull. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut the little divots out, and then I'll kind of eyeball where that's going to be at, and that'll help me place my word pull and tape it down and just run it through this one, obviously. But I'll be right back. I do want to show you as I'm cutting this that there are little tick marks. Let me take that out. From the tick marks that are there to kind of help you set your frame up. So you see that little mark right there? You can definitely line this up on that little mark, okay? So that is just another help that they built in there. So when you go like that, I can see that little tick mark right in there. And then I would tape it down. I'm not going to do it quite yet because I want to show you one other thing. And this is what I meant. When I have this piece, I'll pretend like it's in here. And where should the word pull be? And you want the word pull facing out or facing in, however you like it. I guess I'll put it facing out like this. And it should be like right here. So I would do that. Tape it down and run it through. All right, I'll be right back. Okay guys, so we have our 2 brackets, we have our 2 puller sides, we have the back of our card, that little card piece that we had cut out from the center, we're gonna keep that, and then our pieces all cut with the different die cuts that we would like. And I'm gonna back up the word pull with some paper. So before we start doing anything else, I'm just gonna glue that down. And I'll be right back. And the way I would do that is just put little glue all around the word pull, and that also helps you reinforce it too, so it's a twofer on that one. Just putting that on there. Just on this side you have that little pink pop pink there, and I just chose pink because I like pink. So I will do the same thing on the other side. I'll be right back. I think those are dry. So what we're gonna do is just put these things to the side for just a moment. We're gonna need all of these items for in just a bit here. So we have all these pieces here. We are going to need our brackets next, and this, and the front of our card. So what we're going to do with these guys is just fold them like a tent at that first score line, and then back up on this second one, okay? So it looks like this. I'll hold that there. And the same thing with this one, but opposite, of course. Still the same up and down, but just that it's on the other side. Okay, so we have that, and then we have our card front. Now what we're going to do is turn our card over so we're on the back. And you know what, I'll even write the word back on here just so that if you're looking at it later, you know it's the back. And these guys too, we're going to flip these guys over. And this is the back. Obviously, yeah, and this is the back, but let's just... Don't write on yours. Okay. And that says back, just in case you can't tell. It's a little messy. All right. So we have these guys here. Look at that. So cute. I'm just going to give it a little more of a burnishing. And basically, if we place these over here, I'm just lining them up to the end. But wherever they need to be, and just kind of with each other here. And you see how this one I have it completely lined up to end. This one has a little bit of a space. You can kind of split the difference, move them over, however it is that you want. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but I do want to make sure that my pull, the little letters for my pull, are where they should be. And I don't really need the pink paper to judge that. What I need to do is just eyeball this here. Let me just pick this one up just to see. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, and then on this side, not bad. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is take more of my little washi and just help me. They can move a little bit. Just stick these down, not really sticking them down. I'm just trying to keep them a little bit flat, just to help me out for now. And then we're gonna put our brackets, and we're almost there, guys. I mean, this is pretty quick for something that's gonna be pretty cool. All right. Bring that back down. All I'm trying to do is just keep these pieces down. Okay. Let me see here. It's just a temporary hold. Now for the brackets, you know, you have some choices here, because what you're going to want to do is, oh, this washi is strong enough to help me for the moment. Take these down. So now you see at the very end of the brackets, there's like little score marks. You're not really using them to score, but that's just basically where you're gonna put your glue. I love using wet glues. If you want to use a red liner tape or a really heavy duty tape, that's, you know, what you should do. because with wet glue, you're really going to have to be very careful that you don't get too much glue going out of either side. But we're just going to stick these down. So let me get a little bit closer. I think you can probably see anyway pretty well. And this is a wet glue that dries wet and not wet, it dries clear, very sturdy. I know there's other glues that when they dry, they're still kind of rubbery. You do not want to use that kind of thing. You need to use something that's not going to move later, right? So I'm going to take my wet glue, and I know if you're doing red liner, that'd probably be better. I'm barely putting the glue up to that line, but not quite on that line because I don't want it to get too crazy. So I'm starting at the very end and kind of bringing it up to the line, but not really. And we're just going to place our glue, our bracket here, and you don't have to be right on this area. You can see there's like a little gap there. Hope you see there's a little tiny gap. And that's what I'll do for both sides. Okay, so your bracket's going to help you keep it in place, but again, it doesn't have to be super tight, and you don't want it super loose either. Like, you don't want it to be way out here. You need it to be right there, leaving a little space. Okay, I'm going to hold that down till it's nice and dry. And same thing with this guy. Just making sure I didn't put too much glue. That's going to make it difficult for me. All right, I will be right back. Okay. And since I used glue just to make sure I was not gluing them down, I kind of gave it a little pull, and I can see it's moving in this one too, so we're good. So, yeah, okay. So now I'm going to take these guys off, and we're going to bring back that little piece that we had in the center that was cut out from that center frame. And we're going to use it kind of as a brace also. So basically, how cute. Okay, see, now it has free movement. Okay, just making sure. So we didn't glue that down since I like to use my wet glues. And I'm just going to bring it in together like this and just kind of making sure it's about even. We're going to bring back this little brace piece, and it really won't show, but so it doesn't matter which one you put down, but basically we're going to pop this in here. And if you look at your instructions, it'll tell you if it's too snug, like when you go to close this. That's not bad. You can cut a little piece off. I'm going to cut a little strip off just because I want it to be closed up right down the center, but it doesn't need that much. And again, you can use your red liner tape or whatever tape it is that you want to use. And I think I'm going to bring it in just a little bit more because I do want them to touch. I don't think it's the biggest deal, but I want it completely closed in that center area. Okay. So if you're using red liner, go ahead and put your red liner tape. Of course, you guys know I like wet tape or wet glue. You can put it anywhere in here just to brace this. I just putting it right at the bottom there, but you know, if you want to bring it up a little bit, wherever it is that you want. And again, I'm avoiding the very edge because I don't want to get glue out on the edges or out on this back side here. So I'm just putting that there. Gonna hold that down. And I'll be back once that's set up for us. Okay, I think it's ready because once I let go, it kind of pops up. This is basically it, guys. And then all we're going to do now is just I'm going to make sure this is good to go. Straighten that out just a little bit. We're going to glue our card back to this. Now this is going to be showing, so whatever side you want that looks nicer. My die cutting machine had something stuck on there and made a little divot there, but make sure that's facing you, okay? So what we're going to glue is just these things here. Again, if you're using your red liner tape, go for it. I'm going to kind of keep this held down. And again, since I am using a wet glue, I'm going to stay away from the very edges, but, you know, get it right on there as much as I can. That's what's holding your card together, so basically just need that. And bring your card base over, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball this part. Not bad. I'm just looking at this corner here to help me do that. And since I'm using a wet glue, I'm gonna wait for it to dry a minute before we do the reveal, because this is gonna be really cool. This is it, guys. Okay, so let me make sure it's not sticking down. Okay, good. I will be right back. Okay, guys. So let's turn this guy over. Oh, look at that. And then easily you have your little pull. And when you pull, now I'm gonna have to train it a couple times. It'll open up and then our scene will be in there. Look how wide that opens up. That's like 2 inches, maybe probably 2.5 by the time if I really extend it. Really cool. Definitely have to train it though, just for the first few times. And then when we have our little pieces in there, it kind of helps you keep it going there too. Oh my goodness. So cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, and what I mean train it is like use it a few times, right? Break it in. So while that was drying, I took a moment to put these guys on here so we can check this out. So again, I have the bold greetings, and then I have the rolling along scene over here. So the bold greetings has these little bits that you're going to need to cut your pieces, so that you have your little pieces that are going to go into the carriers that we cut into the main card piece there. So we have like these two here, and then we have best wishes, just a hello, and surprise. And then these guys, I don't know if you can see, they're kind of pointy here on the ends, because basically these, you kind of lay them in like this. Okay, I hope that makes sense. We'll talk more about that in just a minute. Whenever you pick these up, like I said, they'll be on their carrier, and the carrier will tell you what size paper you need to cut for the different layers, right? So the front, the middle, and the back, how big your original cardstock should be. And then the decoration, like on this one, obviously you do that on your own. But these parts you will want to know how high they should be. And I just popped this in here just for the space, but as you can see, the little bike can just fit in there, but it's not necessarily having to be there. So that's why these are all mix and match. You can do whatever you want with all the different sets. And here's the other one. And then we have some little grass features, little hill. Look at this. It's just like, that is so cute. The little bunny and cat and dog. Your little picnic basket that has all kinds of goodies in there. Flowers, of course. Lots of fun little like gifts. A little flower pot, that's so cute. And then a little topper for our bike. And then the words carry on. So what I'm going to do is take a look at this, make sure what sizes I need of paper so we can get the layers cut, and what I want to do with the words and how I'm going to mix this up, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so for this part, you're going to do whatever you like. So I'm going to keep it kind of basic because again, this tutorial is going a little bit long because I want to show you the basic construction of our card base. So on this part here, again, on the back of your carrier, it'll tell you what size papers to cut for each layer. And they might be different between designs, so you want to pay attention to that. For this one here, for rolling along, that's what I checked out. We need pieces that are cut like this. So the front piece, and I'm just cutting them out of green because it's like a grassy kind of area, but whatever it is that you would like, but the measurements are what's important. So for the front one, we need it 4 3/4 by 1 7/8. Okay, the middle piece is 4 3/4 also by 2 1/2, and the last one, you guessed it, is 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. Okay, those are the sizes. Now this is where you're just going to play and do whatever you like. You're going to build up a background, but then you can build on top of those pieces too. So you know, you just kind of want to think about what it is that you want to do. For the very bottom piece, it's very basic, and even if you just wanted to do a piece with nothing on it, and then later you're going to add cute little things on top of it, this is what you would do. So you're going to take that bottom piece, and you're going to line it up completely with the bottom of your paper here. So let me move this over just a little bit. So this is how they're all going to have, because you need these little tabs that kind of help you keep it in place, and then the top piece tabs come from here. So the bottom's always going to look like this, and then sorry, I thought I heard something. So, okay, so depending on what you want to do is what you're going to play with this. So this is our very bottom layer. I'm just going to stick this down out here because I'm not sure exactly what I want to do yet. And then we're going to need this top one. They're all going to have a bottom, and they're all going to have the top. Sorry, so with this guy, you're just going to put him right at the top. Now that could change depending on what you pop in. Like let's say the next layer has the bike, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Obviously the bike would be sticking out, and you don't want that, right? You don't want it out off the paper. You need it to be in the paper. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But for now, for this one, I'm going to line it up, and we do have a little grass insert, so we might as well use it and be a cute little something. And then we have another piece of grass that we can pop on the top later. But if you want to do it all at once, we can do this now. And just put that in there and tape it down. And I'm going to run this piece through, and that is our first layer. I'm just gonna tape that down real well. And one more piece of tape over here just so the whole thing doesn't move. And I'll run this through and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is our first layer. So cute. I love that little grass and everything that's got on there. Super cute. And then you might have some little pieces here, you know, depending on how you cut and all that kind of stuff. So just cut those little tabs off because we obviously don't need this extra hanging on here. And right in here, I'm just gonna pull that. And there we go. And that is our first layer. For our second layer, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. So we have our piece again. This is 4 3/4 by 2.5, and that's where I'm gonna put my bike, but you can layer up however you like, of course. I am using the green, which means my bike base is gonna be green, but really it's because I want the grass to be green. I'm not too worried about the bike right now, but I will show you what I'm gonna do about that in just a minute. And I'm gonna take this off. And you can do this lots of different ways. So this is how I'm doing this. Just to get the black spokes on the bike, because I want the spokes to be black and not deal with all that little stuff. So I'm going to cut this out again in black, but not quite yet. So we're going to pop this in. And now, this is what I was saying, the very top of the die needs to be touching the top of your paper, because if it was this, obviously it'd be hanging out. So whatever reaches the top of the paper is what you need to be in place. So if it's the top of the die or the top of these little sticks, either way, it depends on what you're doing, right? What you want to do. So I'm going to place this here and this guy here and tape it down. So again, I'm doing it green for the green background, but if you wanted to do this in the color that's going to be more of your bike, you know, do that. It doesn't hurt anything. So I'm going to run this through and I'll be right back. Okay, here's our little bike piece. Oh, so cute. Again, it's going to be attached because of the tape I have on here, but also those little notches that are keeping it together. And then I'll just trim those away. Look at that. Adorable. Again, I'll go through and trim away the little bits, and then we'll do our third layer. Okay, and our last layer, you know what? I'll go ahead and bring in a sentiment, I think, from the sentiments kits. We have those two. And I have this guy again, 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. And we need that same bottom all the way down to the bottom. And I'm going to use this guy all the way up as high as it's going to go, depending on the lettering. And then let's do just the hello. And I like that they have the letters separately, so you can cut them out in different colors and add that in and play with that, you know, however you like. I'm going to tape this for a second, so when I bring in my just the hello, it won't move. Now, actually, you know what? I'm just going to do the outline right now. I'll do the letters in a minute, right? That's probably better. Okay. And what I want to show you is, I suppose, you could cut these in there, so it's going to leave like an outline, you know what I'm saying, of the lettering. So pretty cool. But let's put this here. And this is just going to be an outline for my letters. And I'll take this guy. We're going to run this through, and I'll be right back with that. I'm also just going to run through the bike in black paper. I'm going to clean this out. Obviously, want to get rid of all these little papers. I'm going to run this through, get some just in black paper. And I'm also going to run this guy through in this dark green paper that I have here, just for a variation of color. So I'll run this through, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys. So we have our piece here. And so this is where we just start, you know, doing whatever it is that you like to do with your card. Again, I'm going to cut away these little bits. Hold on, let me take this bottom part off. Okay, just pop those out. And then I'm going to cut out the letters in different colors just to make it more colorful and pretty. And I'll do that, just basic die cutting, right? Run the letters through and then stick them on here. So when I come back, that'll be done. I did run through my bike in some black paper. And what I'm going to do with him, I was just debating if I should make it round or just flat. I think I'm going to round this out as much as I can. Just take him off of there. I just want the bike. And then I'm going to clean it up a little bit, and I'm going to add this bike to here. And then we have our little basket. It's a picnic basket. It was basically their bike basket, right? So I'm going to add that on there. And then cut all the different little pieces that I would like of different colors, whatever it is that I need from this. We have our bike seat, we have the little spoke, like all kinds of cute little things on here that you can, the pedal, you can change out all the different colors. And of course the color of the bike itself. And you guys know I love a red bike. So I'm gonna do all of that. And just add the little pieces so when I come back, we'll be ready to pop these into our scene and be ready to go. Okay guys, like I said, I kept it pretty simple. I have just that front green one, you know, we can add our little doggy, little flowers, whatever it is that you like. I did cut an extra piece of that hill, rolling hills there, so I'm gonna put that here. And then we have this guy, so I am gonna go ahead and glue this down. You can put this wherever you like. It can be higher up, lower down, in the front, in the back, even behind, you know, this guy, wherever it is that you like to put that. Oh, and it can even go either way if you want it this way, you know, or this other way, however you want. But I kept it pretty simple again, so we can talk about the layers and all that. Would be something like that. Okay. I love my little bike. He's so layered up. Tons of layers on that bike. I'm gonna wipe away the excess glue. I'll let this set up. And I'll be right back. Okay, I think we're ready. So I have this opened up, and basically what you're gonna do is you can probably start with the one in the back would be the best. You're gonna bring it in, hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing. And you're gonna either, well, maybe we bring it in from the top. Hook that in, you know, and then up and down into that slot. I know it might be hard to see, but I think you can understand what I'm saying. And then up into that slot, as high as it can, and then let it drop down. And that's what's holding it, you guys. Just those brackets are gonna hold your layers in place. And I'll do the same thing for the next one and the next one. And let's see. Get it in here, up to the top, and back in. Same thing on this side. Up and in. And there's that piece. So everything kind of just hovers in there. Even these other pieces, I mean, they're just being held by the brackets there. One thing I've noticed as I've worked on this, you use the sturdiest cardstock you can for your card frame. And then, you know, Becca has other frames that you can add on top. Of course, maybe you already have some 5x7 frames, something pretty that you can put in there on top of there. And that'll also give you some sturdiness to your cardstock. But yeah, start off with the sturdiest cardstock you got is what I would recommend. Oh my goodness, look at my little scene. How cute. I love the depth of that. And then if you put it together and you're like, you know what, I do want to add this or that, you can just pop them right back out and add more stuff. It'll be just fine. So let me pop this back in just so we can kind of have a look at what this looks like. Like I said, I need to keep training this so that, oh my gosh. And then of course you're going to decorate the whole front, which, you know, with any dies, these dies, oh, that'd be really cute actually. You just can put even some of this out here and just continue on with your little scenery kind of on this outside piece. I saw some of the examples had like, if you had a certain color on the inside, they put that color here in this place, you know, obviously before you assemble everything. So there's lots to do with it, but this is the basic construction and how you would kind of go about making your card. And then when they open it up, your little scene is there. So cute. So thank you so much, Spellbinders, for sending us for my review. I hope the tips and the way I worked through it made sense and helps you out in putting yours together. Lots of cute ones. I love the little gazebo, the little house. So many cute items. The birthday one. Oh my gosh. Anyhow, thanks for watching, guys. I'll have the links in the description box, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye now.